What's up, everybody? This is your boy Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman, your host of Mr. Gentleman Like That podcast. And this week's sponsorship is from Newsly. Newsly is a all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android. It picks up web articles about the most trending topics on the web at any given moment and read them to you in a natural human voice. For the first time in ever of the internet, the entire web becomes listenable, all in one place. Browse articles from topic choose, start playing, start scrolling, and start listening. You can follow any topic as you specifically as you like, from sports, science to Bitcoin, even for the Kardashians. It will find you on the latest article and you read them to you out loud. And they have podcasts as well. Explore trending podcasts from over 50 countries. Our podcast, Mr. Gentleman Like That podcast, is on there as well. Yes, it is. Shout out to Newsly for that. I started using it as my default podcast app. Download and use Newsly for free from www.newsly.me or from the link in the description. Use the promo code Mr. Gentleman that I will also put in the description and receive 1 month free premium subscription. So you already know, y'all, download Newsly now. Check it out. Support them, y'all. This is your boy Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman, your host of Mr. Gentleman Like That podcast, and enjoy the show. You are now listening to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast Season 5. Yes, hello everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman, 1/4 of the Premier Boy Podcast, and your host of Mr. Gentleman Like That Podcast. Welcome to another new episode of Mr. Gentleman Like That Podcast. Hope all is well. And on this episode, I got my special guest. She is a podcast host. She have a podcast show called Kingdom Chat. She also have an apparel line called Rev12Six. And we're going to talk to her about podcast, Apparel Line, and many more. This was a really dope interview. This is actually one of my dream guests. I've been wanting to come on the show for a very long time. And I finally got her on the show. And this was a really good interview. I know y'all going to enjoy it. I know y'all going to be inspired by it. I enjoyed it. I was inspired by it. So yeah, so y'all already know what to do. Sit back, relax, and I'll be right back.
This is Laquita from the Queen and Me podcast, and you're listening to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. And at this time, I will be giving up the legitimate facts quote of the day. And today's quote of the day is thank you, God, for life. And what I mean by that is sometimes you just got to thank Him for all that He's done. Thank Him for your health. Thank Him for waking you up. And thank Him for always being there, even when time is bad. Sometimes you just got to thank Him. And that is the day with the legitimate facts quote of the day. Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman, and I am the host of Mr. Gentleman Like That podcast. And this commercial break is brought to you by Mr. Gentleman Like That podcast. On Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Pocket, we interview many guests about their life journey, pretty much where they come from and where they at now. Also promoting their brands or whatever they're doing at the time they come on the show. We also have the host talk about personal stories about himself and everything that he's been through. And also we have fun conversation about anything music, anything old school, relationships, wrestling, and many more. And y'all can tune in to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Pocket every Sundays at 12 a.m. We are also on every Thursdays at 12 a.m. for Spin-Up Series Thursdays, where we have all of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Pocket Spin-Off Series all in one day, where we have a conversation about music podcast every first Thursday at 12 a.m. The Old School Show with myself and the Star Riding Rod every fourth Thursday at 12 a.m. And we have Date Night Talk Podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B every second and third Thursday at 12 a.m. And y'all can tune in to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, the Pods, and many more. Or y'all can check it out on the official website of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast, www.realmrgentlemanlifestylepodcast.com, www.realmrgentlemanlifestylepodcast.com, and tune in every Sundays and Thursdays at 12 a.m. for Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in to this commercial break of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Back to your regularly scheduled program. Cheer!
Hey guys, this is your girl Teph from Kingdom Chats Podcast, and you are listening to the Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast.
Yes, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Next time I got my special guest. She is a podcast host. She got a podcast show called Kingdom Chat. Also, she got an apparel called Rev12Six. And also, most important, she is a woman of God. We got Trevor in the building. Trevor, how you doing?
What's up, guys? Can you see me?
Yeah, you're good.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on the show. This has been a long time coming. I've been wanting to have you on the show for a minute, and so I'm happy that we finally have you on the show. And yeah, so we're gonna get to it. So we're gonna start off with, where are you from?
I'm originally from Staten Island, New York, and I'm in Connecticut. Don't ask me how I got here, but I've been here for about 15 years. So can I still say I'm from New York? Is that okay to do?
I mean, you were born in New York, but I guess Connecticut is a part of you now. So yeah, let's do count.
But yeah, so born and raised in Staten Island, New York. Went to college in Connecticut. Met my husband there. And we moved back and forth for a little bit between New York and Connecticut, but ultimately Connecticut was cheaper, so that's what was a keeper.
I think that's probably the best decision, because the way New York is right now, yeah, I think you made the right decision. Right.
It's so crazy, when you think about how God foresees things. The first time I moved out of New York, I didn't think I could live anywhere else. I was everything I could do to get back there, because I thought that was where I belonged. That was home to me. And looking back in hindsight, the best thing I could have ever done was to leave New York. And not saying, anything bad about New York. I still love my hometown, but what I've learned, the things that I've seen in this world, I would have been so much more limited had I stayed in that place where I was from and didn't branch out.
Definitely. And like I said, you made the best decision, because the way New York is right now, yeah, I'd rather leave myself. I ain't gonna lie. But let's talk about your beginning of life. How was you growing up? Your childhood and your background and stuff like that.
So I'm one of six. So I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters, and I was raised, everyone in my family is very spiritual. So when I was raised growing up, it was from sundown Friday to sundown Saturday. Like, we had Shabbat, like we were learning about God at a very young age, like all of his attributes, like Jehovah Jireh, like all of that is what I was taught growing up. And I think it was a great foundation for where I am now. When I was going through it, it sucked because when everybody else was able to go out with their friends on Friday nights, or everybody else was able to go out to parties or just to hang out and chill, like that was not happening in my house. It was kind of like we were each other's friends and family. Like it was our own little bubble. All 8 of us, like we did our thing together, and it's a great foundation. Like I said, it sucked at the time, but again, in hindsight, you realize like, wow, I needed that.
Yeah, and I could definitely agree. Growing up with my parents and me and my 3 sisters, you grow up in a Christian home. We go to church every Sunday and stuff like that. Plus, my grandfather was a pastor, and my grandmother was the first lady. And after he passed away, and then my aunt took over. So we've always been involved in the church. Of course, later in life, I kind of went this direction, but then of course I eventually came back. Of course, but I could definitely relate. I could definitely relate to you. Growing up in a church family and stuff like that.
I think
and
it's
how
like
everything you've been through. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, I think it's part of the process, like how you just said. You kind of rebelled. You had that space and time where it was like, I know this is probably what I should be doing, but you kind of have something in you that's pulling you to try it a different way. And I think it's a necessary part of the process because, like, I will say for me, I believed always. Like, I've always been a believer. However, there's a difference between believing and knowing. And I think what I was raised up on was believing in something that my parents knew and what they were showing me, and my aunts, my uncles, even like you said, my grandfather was a pastor too. So like, you have a bunch of people telling you this thing that you should believe, but there comes a point in time in your journey where it has to become really real for you. And it has to be something that's more than just a belief, but like a knowing. Like knowing, people come under my Instagram sometimes and they'll be like, God's not real. And I'm like, cool, that's cool. Like, you could believe that. I'm not here to like challenge anybody. My God doesn't need me to defend him because he is, and I know that he is. So there's nothing for me to try to like prove that he is. Like, it's deeper than a belief at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And that's dope that, you're doing that too. And everything that you've been through, from growing up to now, how that made you the person that you are today?
Just even like how we just said, like that foundation, I think it's something you can always go back to, right? So when you're building your life and you want to build it on a solid foundation, I would say that everything that I have been through, it all started from a solid foundation. So even when I fall, even when things happen that don't go the way I think they should, even when I'm like thrown off by life's, like, they be throwing darts and stuff, like you be trying to dodge them and miss them, but it's necessary. And as long as you have a strong foundation to come back to say like, okay, what do I know? There's so much in this world that is uncertain, that's unstable. But if you can always come back to, what do I know? I know that God loves me. I know that he's there for me. I know that he's never leaving me. He's never forsaking me. Like, there's just certain truths. So like what I've been through in life, it taught me to trust through pain, because I've experienced pain. I've experienced loss. I've experienced disappointment. Like, I've experienced a lot of things. Anyone who knows me knows, like, I lost my father a few years back, and that was one of the things that like kind of shook me to my core, because that was unimaginable. And there's just different things that I've been through in life, as far as disappointments and pains. But what they've taught me and how they've made me who I am now is they made me stronger. They made me more resilient. They made me to have a stronger connection with God. When my father passed in 2015, I remember thinking, what do I do now? because up until then, I always knew like, if anything happens, I can look to my mother, I can look to my father. They will be the ones to pray me through. They will be like, you know how you say you have the praying grandparents. Like I had the praying parents that I knew that their prayers will always get through. And so I never cultivated within myself the ability to stand on my own spiritually, because I knew I had them. And when my father passed, I remember saying like, wow, if I lose my mom, who's going to pray for me? Who's going to pray for my kids? Like who, you know, so in that moment, I learned how to pray. I learned how to read the word. Like I learned out of something that was really a painful situation, but it grew me to be able to stand on my own. So now when my kids, I have a 7-year-old and a 13-year-old, and like my son won't go to sleep at night until he's like, can you pray for me? The fact that he asks for that he wants that. If he's hurt, if his head is hurting, he's like, can you pray for me? Like that, to me, I look at that in awe, because that's a go-to for him. And that's not a go-to for that's not even a go-to for every adult, let alone a child. So like, I think it's amazing that out of something that was very painful, I gained a new skill, I gained a new connection, I got deeper in my faith, and now I'm able to be that for my children.
Yeah, that's amazing. And once again, I apologize about, sorry for your loss of your father. And and you're doing an amazing job. You're doing an amazing job. So,
Thank you.
And also, y'all gotta check out. They gotta check out your IG, because your IG is like, wow, it's amazing. Your content's amazing. I didn't want to say that. Throw that in real quick.
I appreciate that. Yeah, definitely check it out. XO_Teph on Instagram. It's so crazy how that even came about. Because first of all, can we just throw it back to when Instagram first started? I didn't even realize what Instagram was for the longest. I thought it was a photo editing app where you can like edit the filter on your pictures. So I remember like putting pictures like through to just edit them, and then getting alerts like someone liked your picture, and I'm like, how the heck can they see it? Like, that's how long I've been on Instagram. And I remember in 2018, I went to a Woman Evolve conference, if any of you guys listen to Sarah Jakes Roberts. And I left that conference with so much like empowerment to just do what I felt in my heart that I wanted to do. Like I always knew that I wanted to help people up until then. So let's rewind back a little bit. I bought my house after my dad passed away. And in the moment where I thought I was going to feel like the happiest, I felt the saddest. So I was like, I just bought a house. I have a nice car. I'm married. I have 2 kids. Like literally we have a white picket fence, like whatever you kind of envision of like the American dream of what is supposed to bring you joy and what's supposed to bring you happiness. I had that. And the day that we signed and closed on our house, I remember like being so sad. And in that moment, I was just like, okay, what's going on? Because you should be happy. And I remember thinking, if I'm not happy with all of this, like, what am I missing? And I think a lot of people get to a point in their life where all the things that they thought would make them happy, when you get to them, you don't seem filled. And there's something that's missing. And so when you talk about the content I do on Instagram or my podcast that I have, everything that I do is to bring people closer and more into alignment with who they really and truly are, so that you can feel fulfilled in the moments that great things are happening for you. Because a lot of us have good things in our lives, but we're not experiencing them that way. We're experiencing them through the lens of depression, or we're experiencing them through the lens of loneliness. You have people who are in really great positions to experience great things, but because they don't have a partner, they're not married, they feel like, oh, well, I'll be happy when I get married. If you are not happy before you get married, you will not be happy when you get married.
Definitely true, yeah.
These outside things are not what's going to make you feel alive. It's not going to make you feel like you're purposeful. It's not going to make you feel fulfilled. And so when I started this on Instagram, it was just like, I want to share all the things that I've been learning. Because when I tell you, I went through a season of life where I was so tunnel vision. I was listening to different pastors. I'll shout out my pastor, Stephen Furtick. I think I listened to probably 3 years worth of sermons from him in like 2 months at one point, because it was just constantly in my ear, constantly reading books, constantly listening to podcasts. I wanted to learn, how do I get this thing called joy and peace that I know exists out there? Like, I know it's possible for me. So what am I missing? And how can I learn from these different people? And the more I learned, like, my mind was blown with all of this information that is out there about things like peace, about things like, you know, what you focus on expands. So the more I was focusing on what I didn't have, the more I saw that in my life show up, like the laws of attraction, all these things that I never knew existed. And as I was learning them, I wanted to share them with people, but nobody was really like trying to hear it. I would say, like, in my immediate friend circle, they weren't reading those books. They weren't listening to those messages. So it's like, all right, it's cool. We'll let you talk for a little bit, but like engaging conversations were limited. And one thing that I kept hearing over and over was, I don't have time to. So like, I would send someone a book or send them a message like, oh, I'm so busy, I don't have time to read that. I don't have time to listen to that. And so what I wanted to do was to be able to take in all the information, take out the juicy parts, take out the parts that work, and share them with people, so that, okay, you may not be able to read a 200-page book, but you could listen to a 1-minute, you know, message on Instagram, or you can listen to maybe a 20-minute podcast on it. So that was my inspiration. It's just like, how can I simplify this for people who don't necessarily have the time, or they have not yet created a lifestyle that allows them to prioritize that, and get them interested enough in it that they'll make the time. Because that's what ends up happening. The more you know, the more you want to know. The more you realize you were missing out, or you're like, wait a second. So if I do this, it changes everything. And it literally does. So yeah, I kind of go off on a tangent, but.
That's good. That's good. It's good. And like I said, I really enjoy your content. It really helped me do sometimes too. So I want to thank you for, you know, putting that content out and stuff like that. Both your IG and your podcast. We're about to talk about the Kingdom Chat in a few. I want to say thank you for that. Thank you for doing that and stuff like that.
I appreciate you tuning in and listening and, you know, taking the time.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Kingdom Chat. Like, how did that come together? How the idea came together and stuff like that? Like, what made you want to start the podcast?
So Kingdom Chats actually started out as a live on Instagram that me and a friend of mine, it was at the start of the pandemic, and God just kept telling me, you need to do something. You need to do something. Like, people, especially at the beginning of the pandemic, were very fearful. A lot of people were losing faith, and a lot of churches shut down. So people who would normally have a place to go to exercise their faith and to strengthen their faith, they no longer had that. And not everyone goes to a church that does online. So some people literally went from, I'm in church Sunday, Wednesday, you know, Saturday morning prayer, to nothing. And so it was just placed on my heart that to do an Instagram live series. So what we would do is we would listen to our favorite preachers, Stephen Furtick and Sarah Jakes Roberts, on Sunday. And then we would talk about what we learned and the parts that stood out on live the next day. And people got really interested in that. Like, because we would take simple concepts and principles that were talked about in the message, but then we would apply them to our everyday life. Because if we're honest, that's where the disconnect is. We can hear something, read something in the Bible, hear someone preach, but if you can't apply it to your life and you can't apply it to the situation that you're in, then what did it do? And so my goal with Kingdom Chats Live was to take the word and apply it and give them analogies and show them how it can work in your everyday life. And that's how it grew from Instagram Live to, you know, I don't necessarily want to be live all the time. And my schedule didn't necessarily permit for me to be live again. Once like the world kind of opened back up and people went back to work, the schedule wasn't as free. And so we were able to transition that live into a podcast. It started out with me and one of my close friends, Jamie. We're doing it together. But even through that, like over the past year, we weren't able to both do it. But God told me, like, you know what? Keep it going. Because, okay, so anybody who's listening who wants to do something but doesn't know how, just pray about it, because God is so strategic in how he puts things together. Because I am not a tech person. And if I had to set up my own podcast, I probably would never have. But he linked me with someone who would do the background work. Okay, let me research. How do we get you on Apple? How do we get you on Spotify? So my co-host did all of that part of the aspect. I'm the one who will be like, all right, well, I'll record, I'll edit, I'll, do all of that type of stuff. And so once it was set up in place, even though she is no longer on the show with me, everything was in place. So now I don't have to do all that legwork. It was already done for me. And it was almost like it was strategically done. Like God was like, all right, I know that if I leave this to you, we'll be here forever waiting for you to do it. Let me get you some help. And then now you can keep it going and do the vision that I had put in your head from jump. And even with I'm currently writing a book, and God gave me this book to write 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, I don't know how. I'm not a writer. I don't know how to organize a book and how to put things together. And over the past year, he strategically gave me different things. And then I looked up one day and I was like, that looks like an outline to a book. And it was literally he gave it to me month by month in sections. But when I had spread it all out, it's like, wow, you were giving me the blueprint all along and I didn't even know. I didn't know over the last 2 years that that's what you were doing. I thought it was just me creating content for Instagram or me creating content for someone else or something else. But when I looked at it in its totality, it's like, wow, you really walked me through this in baby steps. And a lot of times we don't recognize his hand that way. But if you look at it, if you go back in your life and look at how he sometimes will strategically place you in places to get something out of it, and you don't know that you're going to need it down the line, but then you end up needing it. Even with Instagram and YouTube, all of that stuff, I knew nothing about video editing. I knew nothing about podcast editing. I knew nothing about graphic design. And all the stuff that you see me do on Instagram, podcast, anything YouTube, that's all me doing it. The only reason why I started to learn about this is because my daughter said she wanted to start a YouTube channel. And so I learned it for her. 6 months into it, she lost interest. She didn't want to do it anymore.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, well, that was a waste of time, but it wasn't. Because everything I learned in order to help her, I'm able to now use in my own things. And again, God is strategic, because he probably knew that if I had to just learn it for me, I wouldn't have done it. But when it comes to my children, I'm always going to go hard. I'm always going to push myself a little bit further so that I don't disappoint them. So he uses, he knows you. He knows what motivates you. He knows what will push you to the next level. And he will use all of that to get you to where you were created to be.
Yeah, and it's your podcast is an amazing podcast. I enjoy it. I listen to every time you got a new episode, I listen to it, I tune in, I support. And thank you for the podcast, and let my listeners know, where can they listen to the podcast?
So you can pretty much find the podcast anywhere that podcasts are streaming. The number one place that people typically go to is either Spotify or Apple Podcasts. But you can even, if you go on my Instagram, there's a link. And you can listen to it straight from the internet if you wanted to, if you don't have any of those apps, but it will, anywhere that it streams, you can pretty much find it.
Okay, though, and also congrats on the book. I didn't know you were making the book too, so congrats on the book as well.
Thank you. It's a process. It is I didn't realize how much of a process that writing a book was. It's definitely a process, but I'm grateful for it and I'm thankful for it, and I'm learning to charge for things, because most of what I do is giving away free content because I genuinely want people to win, and it's never been about what I'm gonna get from it. It's always just been about, listen, if I win and you win and the next, like, we can just pass this thing on, we'll see such an effect on this earth if we can just all get into an alignment of who we really were purposed and created to be. So that's always been my motivation. But recently I was listening to someone and she said something, and it kind of like triggered or sparked something in me to say, you know, maybe you do need to start charging and putting things out to be able to sell. And what she said was, imagine how much energy, resources, time you could pour into learning, growing, and helping other people if you wasn't combating trying to work at your job and trying to, you know, make money for in this other capacity. She's like, I charge now to sustain my life so that I can take my time and continue to help build other people up. And so she was like, if I have to go to work, you know, from 9 to 5, be a mom, do all these things, it's leaving me very little time and energy to pour into this aspect. And she was like, so if you only do enough to like stay afloat, like, oh, well, just a little bit extra, or I'll do it as a hobby, or I'll do it on my downtime. Like right now with my podcast, it's a monthly podcast now. Like I started out trying to do it weekly, but I had to do it monthly only because of time restrictions.
Yeah.
Now imagine I didn't have to go to work and I can literally focus on my podcast. Imagine how many more people I could reach, how many more souls I can help, how many more purposes I can help get into, you know, fulfillment. So it's just kind of like a tool to me to be able to say, if I'm able to reach more people and help more people, that's a gift to be able to do that. And I don't want to keep brushing it under the rug as if it's a hobby when it's a calling. And I think a lot of times we do that. We treat the thing that we were called to do like a hobby, and we try to do it in our spare time instead of creating a life in which what we were called to do is what we do. And then everything else becomes extra.
Yeah. And like I said, you did an amazing job with both the podcast, and I look forward to the book. Is the book out yet or not yet?
No, the book is not out yet. So my goal is for it to drop May 1st. And so you'll see me on Instagram. I'll start sharing it more with people, but that is the goals for it to drop on May 1st. And it's called Stepping Into Purpose.
Okay, dope. Right on my birthday month. So that's dope. That is dope. So also you are a co-founder of the Apparel Rev12Six. So tell us about that and how you got part of that.
So Rev12Six is faith-based apparel. And basically what the goal is to have shirts. We have shirts, hats, hoodies, everything that is just a reminder to you and to others of your faith. And so, like, for example, one of our hoodies is the Jeremiah 29:11 hoodie. And for those who may not know, that is a scripture. And it's one of my favorite scriptures because it just reminds me that before we were in our mother's womb, that God had a purpose for us. He had a plan for us. And the plan was to give us a hope and a future and to prosper us. And so sometimes when we're going through life, we forget those things. We forget the promises that he made to us. We forget the things that he said about us. And so the apparel line is just to be a reminder, a walking testament to what he has spoken over our lives. And in those moments when we may need a reminder, it's like, listen, it's like a walking billboard. He has a plan for me. He's prospering me. So that's what the idea behind it is. How can I be a walking testimony of my faith?
Okay, that's dope. And where can I get the apparel? What the website? You
can find that online at Rev12Six, and it's spelled REV, the number 12, and SIX.com. And We have a crazy sale going on right now, so definitely check that out. Everything is on sale, from hoodies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, hats, all types of stuff.
There you go. So as you know, we are in I don't know if we're still in a pandemic, but it's complicated these days. But when the pandemic affected you as a whole, and what did the pandemic taught you?
So for me, the pandemic taught me to stand on what I know and not to be swayed. And I say that both being empathetic to people who lost people in the pandemic, but also standing firm in my faith that, like, for example, for me, I will say I try to walk in absence of fear. And so throughout the pandemic, it's hard to not walk in fear when everybody around you wants to suck you into that. And to kind of be able to put your blinders on. The word says we walk by faith and not by sight. And so it taught me to step into that and to fully like embody that, because I had to not look at everything that was around me and recognize that what he spoke to me about me was, you are safe, you are whole, you are healthy, your children are safe, your children are healthy. And so to not allow that fear to trigger anything inside of me. It also taught me how to find blessings in the midst of chaos, because chaos there was, but even in all of the chaos, in all of the negativity and all the bad things, there were so many amazing things that took place during these last 2 years. And I think that people almost made it taboo to be happy. And they made it kind of like, how dare you be exceeding or excelling or happy during a time when so many people are losing and so many people are going through these things. You almost didn't want to be happy or be, openly happy during that time. And so it taught me how to stand firm in who I am and what I am. But it also taught me different levels of friendship. Some people through the pandemic, it brought us further away, and I had some friendships that it brought me closer. But one thing that I learned is that my destiny, my purpose, none of that is tied to a single individual. People who I thought would be there for me, people who I thought would be down with me to the end, this pandemic showed that that's not always going to be the case. And I had to learn. There's this sermon I always go back to. It's called Shipwrecked. And it's talking about when the Apostle Paul is on his way to Rome and he gets shipwrecked. And an angel comes to him and he says, "Don't be afraid, have courage. The boat is going to break, but you will not die. And nobody on the ship is going to die, but the boat will break." And when I think about that, there are some things in our lives that are going to break. And there are going to be some things in your life that you thought were going to carry you to the next destination. Like a ship is supposed to bring you somewhere. And so when you're looking at something like that, it's like, well, how are you going to get me to shore? How are you going to get me to this destination if the thing I thought was going to get me there is broken? And not only is I'm looking at it be broken, but God, you're telling me that I'm going to have to break this thing. And that's when you realize that the ship is never the thing that's carrying you. God is the thing that's carrying you. And so when I recognize that, that's something that I learned in this pandemic, that it's nothing outside of me. There's no person, there's no job, there's no nothing that is carrying me. That if it has to break, I won't continue to be carried. That's one thing that I recognize. I think it's important for people to recognize that there is a source that gives resources. And so all the things that we typically attach to our jobs, money in the bank, positions of status, whatever it is, are all resources that are given. And the resource might break, the resource might end, but if I'm still connected to the source, then resources are unlimited. And so I have to get outside of the box. I had to get outside of the box to thinking this is the only way he can bless me, and recognize that he can bless me any way that he chooses. If I lose the job, he'll bless me another way. If I lose the friendship, he'll bless me another way. And so that is what I learned through this pandemic for myself, even just through looking at other people connected to me, how he was able to bless them tremendously. People who lost their jobs, who thought that was going to be the end all be all, and then ended up landing their dream job, as a result of that. And so in the moment, it's easy to kind of feel sad or lost or disappointed or frustrated because you don't know how he's going to do it, how he's going to get you there, how is this all going to work out? And we always want to know how. Yeah. But the reality is, bigger and greater than the how is the who. And so once I knew who the who was, and it's God, then everything else kind of like fell into place. And so that's the biggest thing that I've learned through the pandemic is just who my source is, and through who all things flow.
Yeah, and everything you just mentioned, I definitely been through it. The pandemic was really, really, really crazy, but I do gotta thank God for everything that He done and just protected me and my family, and allowed me to go back to Him, because I got saved during the pandemic. We saved during the pandemic, so it was happy that I'm glad I made that decision to come back to Him during that time and stuff like that, and do with Him now. So I definitely could relate to that. So what is your dream? So what is your dream venture? Something that you always want to do?
I would love to, and to be honest, I'm probably thinking on a smaller level, but I really would love to do like a women's retreat across, cross country, across the world, like as just getting like-minded women together and pouring into them, getting people who deal with finances, who deal with mindsets, who deal with fitness goals, and just bring them all to one location with, a group of women, and just allow them to like experience luxury, but also just experience the knowledge, the revelations, and everything that these people would have to pour into them. Like, I would love to be able to do that. It's weird. Like, I never considered speaking a gift. And the older I get and the more aligned I get, I find like that is what the gift that God has given me. So when you talk about what I would, like a dream venture, like if I could just speak for a living, I would do that. I would go around just speaking life into people, because I'm so aware of the power that words have. I'm aware of the people who I tuned into, who changed my life, who helped me to see something different, because how you see something is everything. That's why two people can look at the same thing and come out with two different outcomes, because perspective, how you see something is what matters the most. So like if I could just speak to people, teach people, and help them grow, and help them to realize like I relate to them so much, feeling stuck, feeling alone, feeling all of those things. I've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, and don't plan on going back there. But you want someone who can relate to you, who can empathize with you and what you're going through, and that can help pull you out of what you're going through, to show you there's more out there for you, there's better out there for you, there's greater for you. And so my dream venture would just be like going around helping people like come to that realization.
There you go, and that would be a dope idea. But you already know, anything is possible. Do it. Anything is definitely possible. Do it. And so, what other projects that you got going on, other than the stuff that you mentioned today?
Yes, I mean, right now that is where my focus is: the podcast, the clothing, apparel, and the book. So I've not done this before, but I'm also working on turning. So the workbook is something you can do on your own, right? So I can give you a workbook, you can follow along with it. But on top of that, I know that there are different types of learners. So there are people who you can just give them a book and they can just walk through it and do it. No coaching, no accountability needed. Like they will get it done. But I also want to design a course specifically for people who need a little bit more help, or who need accountability partners, or who don't necessarily have a circle of friends or family to encourage them, because environment is everything. You take a seed and put it in the wrong environment, it will never grow. And there's nothing wrong with the seed, it's just not in the right environment. And so we are those seeds. We are seeds that if you put us in the right environment and you water us and you nurture us, that we will grow into everything that we have inside of us comes out, right? Now, everybody can't just up and change their environment physically, but through the power of the internet, through the power of virtual rooms and things like that, you can put yourself in environments with like-minded people that will help you grow, that it's almost impossible not to grow when you get into certain rooms. So that's one of the things I'm working on right now, is just designing a program that will allow people to come together and be able to feed off each other, and to create a platform where each person can help the next person grow, and to help each other stay accountable for the things that we say that we want in life. And then I'm going to be opening up. I'm not opening this up until the midsummer. So probably like the end of June, I'll be opening up one-on-one coaching sessions.
Dope. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's dope. So what do you have to say for anybody that going the same route as you, like, you know, with your podcast, the book, and everything? Like, what do you have to say to them?
One thing that I think is really important that people know, right? So it's process. Everything's a process. And I think sometimes we want something and we see a goal in front of us, and we think that the route to it has to look the same. So this is what I shared so far is the route my life took. It's the path that God laid out for me. But the word tells us that the steps of a good man are ordered. So just always remembering that your steps are ordered, not just the steps that you like, not just the steps that look good, but all of your steps are ordered. So that means that when you stumble or things are not going the way you look, like you think that they should, that you don't judge it too soon. Don't label it as negative. Don't label it as, oh my gosh, I made a mistake. I'll never be like, no. Every part of your journey is ordered. And even when you step out of line, that's part of the journey too. Like how you said, you know what? I was out of alignment, and through the pandemic, you recommitted yourself to him. Don't think for a minute that everything that you went through that led up to that moment of you surrendering to him wasn't already thought of. You're never so far out of alignment that he can't get you back on the path. It's almost like a GPS system's like constantly rerouting. You might have an obstacle, you might have something in your path that it says roadblock, and you're thinking like, wow, the way I thought I was going to get there, it's blocked. When that happens, you don't pull over and just stay still. You look for the reroute. You look and say, okay, this door is closed. This opportunity didn't work out the way I thought it was. Then that means that this is not the direction he wanted me to go. He's rerouting me. And I think we all like to hear yes for everything, but no's are just as important as yeses. And they're constantly like, you might have doors closed in your face. You might have opportunities, and you're like, wow, I thought this was going to be the one. I thought this was going to be the thing that would get me there. I think the greatest thing I can let somebody know is to release the expectation of how it's going to get done, but never release the expectation that it's going to get done. And that right there to me was a game changer, because as long as I can keep the belief and the faith that it will happen and separate myself from how it's going to happen, it kept me focused, it kept me going, and it kept the disappointments from seeping into my heart and causing bitterness or causing resentment, because those things will happen too. You put in a lot of work, you put in a lot of energy. You know how many times I put in time, energy, effort into something that got like 5 likes? Like,
yeah.
I'd be like, y'all don't see this greatness? Like, what's going on? And then there was times where I didn't think anything of. I was just like, whatever. And that would be the thing that blew up. I remember one time I woke up and I had like thousands of like comments and likes, and I was like, and all these new followers. I'm like, what is going on? I didn't post anything that day, so I'm like, what's going on? And then like I get all these text messages like, you're on the shade room, you made it to the shade room, and you wasn't even being shady. And I'm like, what? And like twice I made it to the shade room off a quote that I posted, and I was laughing to myself because you may not know this, but I'm not the best speller. I'm not good with grammar when it comes to writing, which is AKA why I said that I'm really not a writer. I'm more of a speaker.
You're not the only one.
But the thing that they posted of mine on the shade room had a spelling error. It had a typo.
Oh wow.
And I was like, really, God, of all the things that you want to show to millions of people, this was the one you chose. And it was funny because I went to the comments, and a lot of in the comment section were saying good things. And then there were a lot of people who were like, she can't even spell, she can't even this. And even in those moments, like the enemy will always try to pull you to the negative in the midst of something positive. And so I just had to read it and laugh. I'm like, y'all right, your girl can't spell. Like, I just can't. But did you get the message?
Exactly.
You know, did you get the understanding? I hope that you got more out of it than a typo. Like, so you just have to refocus and reframe the things that happen to you in life. You'll always be able to find something negative. But I say that to say that God can change something in an instant. There was nothing that led up to that day that told me that I was going to be on the shade room. There was nothing that led up to that day that told me that I was going to have tens of thousands of people come through my Instagram that day. Like there was no connection, but that's how God can work. And I think that he strategically does things like that just to let you know how quickly and easily things can happen for you, to stay ready, to stay prepared, to stay in your proper position so that when those things happen, you're ready. And I just, you know, that's what I would say to somebody. It doesn't happen overnight because you're working, but it could happen just that fast. The thing that you want, the thing that you're dreaming of, the thing that you're working towards, it really can just happen so quickly with God.
Yeah, definitely. Good advice. Also, I'm shocked about the shade room. I didn't even know that even happened. The shade room.
Yeah, that was a while. That was probably maybe a year or so ago. That was in 2020. We're in 2022. So that happened in 2020. And it's funny because they didn't tag me. So you'll see it because I tag my anything I put up has my name on it. My name was on it, so you'll be able to go back and see if you went through their stuff. They post so much, but you'll be able to go back and see it. But they didn't tag me in the like comment section or like in their description. And it's like even stuff like that. It's like, okay, God, I see you. It's like, because I want you to understand that it's not about you. Everything that we do is not about us. God gives us gifts. He gives us talents, and our gifts are supposed to be for other people. And I think sometimes what delays people from reaching their fullest potential is the fact that they're still trying to do it for themselves. They're still trying to gain worldly success just for the sake of saying I'm successful, or just for the sake of saying I have money. Don't get me wrong, money is not a bad thing to have. Like, I want money. I'm not saying anything against that, but always check your motives. Because money comes and money goes, but that should never be the motivation behind what you're doing. If money is the only motivator for you, you'll never have enough. There'll never be a moment when you're like, okay, I'm at peace now because I have enough money. It never comes. And I'm speaking as a person who, I have a really good job, and I've watched through the years as I've progressed through the financial ladder. There's like watching the people around me, like give you an example. I remember one time I turned down making probably like $5,000 in a day. And I said no because my daughter had a soccer game, and it was important to me because it was important to her. Then I made her soccer game. And I remember people on my job like, I can't believe you would turn that down. And it's like, yeah, because my family matters to me. And if my only motivator is money and I'm chasing money, I'm going to lose sight of all these other things that are really important. And my children are important. My husband, you know, the things that he does, like those matter. My health, my mental health, and my physical health also matter to me. And so you have people, I've literally, in my field that I work in, have watched people tax their bodies so badly because they want the money. And so I try, and like I said, I know that money is a necessity. Like we need money to eat, to pay for things, but it can never be my motivation because it's not my top priority. I have things that are more important to me. And I think that if you can find the thing that you're working towards that's outside of you, you'll be more motivated and you'll stick through it through those challenging times. Because if your motivation is only money, when the money slow up, you're going to slow up.
Yeah.
But if there's something bigger, you'll put in that time, you'll put in that energy. You know, I don't get paid to podcast, but when I have people who DM me and say, you know what, this really changed something for me. I heard this thing that you said and it sparked something in me that I was able to do this, and this. Like, you have no idea how many people are connected to your gift, who's connected to what you are bringing to the table. And a lot of times we devalue the thing that other people see in us and are like, wow, that's amazing. But for us, because it's our norm, because it's just us, we devalue it. And so we'll put it on the back burner, or we won't really, let it be seen by other people, because in our minds, it's like, well, it's not that serious, or it's not that important, or it's not good enough. Whatever it is you think about the thing that God gave you, you have to re-envision it and kind of reevaluate it to realize you have more in your hand to work with than what you've been giving yourself credit for. And I think that, I know your original question was not that, but just, what's in your hand? What is it that you have in your power, in your hand, that God has given you that you can use? And I think if we kind of took a look across the board, a lot of us are not using everything that's in our toolbox.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, that was deep. And I know that wasn't the question, but that was deep. Nah, that was, I'm glad you spread the knowledge out here. So yeah, that's deep. So before you go, we're gonna play a segment game called 5 Random Topics. We are actually 5 random topics, and you let me know, like, basically how you feel about it. So are you ready?
Okay, I think I'm ready. I'm nervous.
All right. So the first question is, what is your favorite era of music?
I would say late 90s, early 2000s. Like, I'm an 80s baby, but that era of like P. Diddy and the Fam, Mace, Lil' Kim, like, to me, that was the best era. Like, I can still probably tell you word for word every lyric from a DMX album, the Lox album. Like, I loved it. Even the R&B from that era, it was just crazy. Like, everything big, everything just like, yeah, that's my era right there. I can't get with this new school. I'm not there.
You are not the only one. I definitely listen to the old school from 90, 2000, even far back to the 80s and 70s and Motown. So I definitely could relate. And as an 80 baby, yeah, I definitely can relate.
Have a moment to realize that there was a point in time when Hot 97 played like old school at noon. Yes. It was like old school. And now when they play old school at noon, I'm like, this is my era of music. Like, what is happening? Am I old school now? So
yeah, time change. All-time favorite TV show.
Oh, that's really hard. I'm gonna say The Office. Okay,
The Office is funny. I ain't gonna lie. The Office is funny. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm probably the worst person because I don't really watch that much TV, but like The Office is probably one show that I've watched from beginning to end multiple times. So I'm gonna give it to The Office.
Okay. No, Office is a dope show. Office is a funny show. I have to lie. It's a funny show. All right, what is your favorite food?
I'm a foodie. It's a lot. It depends on the day. Sometimes steak, sometimes mac and cheese, fried chicken. I like food. I'm the worst. I like food. Food is just good.
I mean, I don't blame you. I don't blame you on that either. I like food too. What is one movie that made you cry?
That's made me cry. I'm a whole punk, y'all. A whole bunch of movies made me cry. But one movie I would say is one of my favorite movies, and it makes me cry every time I watch it. But Good Will Hunting.
Okay, dope.
I'm probably like the only one out here on the tree limb over, but yeah, the Good Will Hunting. He made me cry when he's like hugging Robin Williams and he's like, it's not your fault, and I'm like, it wasn't his fault. Okay.
All right, and last one. As you know, we got the verses coming up, and who you think who is your favorite out of the two, BB CeCe Winans or Mary Murray?
I'm gonna go with BB and CeCe Winans. I don't know if it's just because I grew up more listening to them, like hearing them. So that's probably just like a bias of mine, but I'm gonna go with them.
No, I agree. Same thing. Because I definitely did grew up with BB and CeCe. I remember my parents used to play them like every day, waking up on Sunday morning. That's all I heard with them and Clock Sisters. So like, yeah, definitely I'll go for BB and CeCe as well. Definitely go for them as well. Even though I am a fan of Mary, but BB CeCe definitely got it. And plus, the whole Vine family. And all them, who knows they would bring out. So yeah, true. But
I didn't even think of that, but you're right.
Yeah. But Trevor, thank you for coming on the show. It's been really fun. You're doing amazing with all your content from your IG, your podcast, your apparel, and then your book that got about to come out soon. I look forward to it. So we're singing. Thank you for coming on the show. You're one of my dream guests. So I'm happy that you finally made it happen. So thank you.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for not giving up on me, because I know I said like several times like, yeah, let's do it, and then I'm like, okay. So when I saw your post on Instagram, I'm like, let's just make this happen, and I'm glad that we
happy that we made it happen as well. And I know a lot of people are going to be inspired by your words, so that's all that matters. So once again, thank you for coming on. Before you go, I need you to drop your social media, everything that you're doing. From the podcast, the book, everything. This is your chance to drop it here. This is your chance to drop everything.
So you can find me on Instagram, XO_Teph, TEPH. You can find the clothing line at Rev12Six.com. And Kingdom Chats, the podcast, it's going to come up as Kingdom Chats with Teph. And you can find that anywhere podcasts are streaming.
Okay, there you go. And once again, thank you for coming on, and we'll be right back.
Hey.
Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman. Now, I am the host of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast, and this commercial break is brought to you by Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast presents Spin-Off Series Thursdays. And Spin-Off Series Thursday is the new home for Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast Spin-Off Series that brought to you shows like A Conversation About Music Podcast, The Old School Show, and Date Night Talk Podcast. And A Conversation About Music Podcast is a music spin-off series where we talk about anything music, from the current music scene and the old school music scene, where we interview many guests that's in the music industry and artists about their music journey. We have a segment game called The Face Off, which is a versus inspired game, and we have roundtable discussion about variety of music topics. And y'all can check out a conversation about music podcast every first Thursday at 12 a.m. Every first Thursday at 12 a.m. Now, the old school show that featured myself and the star Roddy Rod is a show where we discuss anything old school, from music, TV shows, movies, and many more. We also bring in guests to join in on the old school conversation. Y'all can check out the old school show with myself and the star Roddy Rod every fourth Thursday at 12 a.m. Every fourth Thursday at 12 a.m. And last but not least, we have Date Night Talk Podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B, where we talk about anything relationship related topics like love, dating, relationships, cheating, the good and the bad, and many more. And y'all can check out this spin-off series, Date Night Talk Podcast, every second and third Thursday at 12 p.m. So look out for Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast Presents Spin-off Series Thursday, a conversation about music podcast every first Thursday. The old school show with myself and the star Roddy Rod every fourth Thursdays, and Date Night Talk Podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B every second and third Thursdays. And y'all can check out Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast every Sundays for the main series and every Thursday for spin-off series Thursdays. And thank y'all for checking out this commercial break. And now back to your regularly scheduled program. True! I just want to take time to thank everybody for tuning into this latest episode of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Thank you to my special guest, Teph, for love for coming on the show. You are doing amazing things from your IG content, your podcast show, your apparel, and everything that you do. Just keep doing amazing things. If y'all want to support her, the podcast show, check out Kingdom Chat on all streaming platforms. And if y'all want to check out the apparel, click on the link in the show note, and y'all can just support on everything. Once again, thank you for coming to the show. We are definitely bringing you back for a feature episode. And y'all already know where I'm at every Wednesday. I'm with my bros, the Premier Boy Podcast, with myself, Mr. King Talk Sands, Star Rider Rod, and Long Live the Chief Molly Mel. Season 2 finale this Wednesday at 12 a.m. on all streaming platforms, except for Spotify. I made a big announcement on the Premier Boy Podcast, so I think you should listen to this episode because it's going to change the landscape of the show. And y'all already know where I'm at every Sunday with the Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. We on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Good Pods, and many more. You know, season 5, we are through, rolling with season 5. 9 more episodes left. We're also the 100 episode celebration as well. It's coming. So y'all already know. Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast presents the old school show with myself and the star Roddy Rod every fourth or fifth Sunday at 12 a.m. on Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast Network. Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast presents a conversation about music podcast. We return new episodes in May, and every first Sunday on a normal schedule, every first Sunday at 12 a.m. on Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast Network. And Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast presents Date Night Talk with myself and Miss Vanna B. April 21st, which is this week. And every second and third Thursdays, I'm on Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast Network. Date Night Talk is finally happening. And look out for it, y'all. And I am still looking for guests for feature episodes on all shows, Mr. Gentleman and spin-off shows. So if y'all want to be a guest, Send me a bio about yourself, everything that you do to my email, Ken underscore Ken Ken YPGENT at gmail.com. Ken YPGENT at gmail.com, or DM me on my IG, Ken underscore Mr. Gentleman. I repeat, Ken, KEN underscore Mr. MR Gentleman, GENTLEMAN, and we can set something up. I'm still looking for guests for the rest of season 5, and season 6 will be to be announced. So yeah, you already know. Check me out on Good Pods. Add me on Good Pods right now, Ken, Mr. Gentleman. Good Pod where we can check out where everybody listening to, support each other's show, rate each other's show. They cater to many indie podcasts, and and check me out in there. Currently we're doing the charts. We're doing the Good Pod charts, but the Gentleman Like the Podcast is currently number 2 on Society and Culture. So we do number 2, so support us. We are also do number 1 on documentary. So thank you everybody that has been listening to with the Gentleman Like the Podcast on Good Pods. It means a lot. And on top 100 shows, we are number 4. Wow, that is big. We are number 4 on the top 100 shows, and honestly, I'm shocked. I'm really shocked about that. And once again, thank y'all, everybody that been, tuning in, supporting Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast on Good Pods. Means a lot. We were also recently on the Apple charts as well. I believe we were on 192. So once again, thank you everybody that been supporting Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast. It means a lot. I just shocked, and it's up from here. And I'm grateful that everybody checking out the content, and it means a lot. And y'all already know the website coming real soon. Relaunching the website coming real soon. And don't forget the merch store at T Public out now. Just go to T Public. We got some new merch designs there. They're all very good collection here. And check it out. Shout out to Angelica for the design, stuff like that. And once again, thank y'all for tuning into this latest episode of Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast. Have a good day or night wherever you're listening to this episode.
My name is Annika Hutchinson, and you're listening to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast.